Welcome, Pisces. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your new moon in Libra reading on the 21st of October. In the very last degrees of Libra, the sun and the moon are placed, emphasizing this cusp energy between Libra and Scorpio, meaning that the energy of both signs is impacting our experience of this new moon. And with Neptune moving back into your sign Pisces in retrograde motion, there's a big emphasis here on understanding the new version of who we are, how our dreams communicate with various aspects of ourselves, including our ancestors, and overall, this renewed, refreshed way that we are looking at all of our relationships, including the relationship with ourselves with new eyes. Before this reading, I meditated and received an image of a number of beautiful, very large koi on the edge of a circular pool underneath the water. And they looked as though they themselves were in a circle looking down into a deep well. And it brought to mind the idea of getting to know yourself as an unexpected, unique, and rare being. And that what the you that is emerging at this time is still unexpected for you. It is still a new experience in terms of the information you're able to process, receive, the clarity of your ambition and your goals, and the way in which you can view all relationships as opportunities for growth rather than as challenges or struggles. I pulled from the Talisman Oracle the Overcome Fear card for you, and I'm going to read that from the guidance of the book. And take what resonates. In the unknown can be frightening, and it's easy for those feelings to intensify in the darkness or when you feel exhausted. Make sure all your needs are met and you are well rested. It takes patience, consistency, and validation to rewire the old paths of thought. Perhaps a past experience is triggering the current emotions, so acknowledge the reasons you feel this way. Note the way you speak to yourself. You are strong and powerful, and you can overcome anything, but also remember to be gentle and patient with who you are. Move slowly at your own pace and see yourself shining in the bright, warm light of this glowing candle. Use this card when you need to face your fears or anxiety. Create a safe space in your mind by imagining lighting a candle. The candle represents your bravery, and the prickly branches on this card are your fears and anxiety. Look at the card again and envision the light shining brighter and stronger until it spills over the edges of the card and out in reality. Feel the burden dissolve and notice how light this new feeling of love and trust becomes. And the mantra here is, I can manage my feelings. I'm going to let that settle with you and reiterate this idea of understanding yourself in a new way, allowing new feelings to come through, and that the context for much of the fear you may be experiencing is the sense of anxiety that the social environment can be producing. Remember, there is a lot of social violence out there, and there are real fears about ourselves and the well-being of our neighbors, others that live around us who have less protection or less of the resources that we have. So that's to set this in a context. You are by no means isolated in any way. But you are able to manage your own feelings here. The overall energy for this reading is the beautiful Two of Cups. I like it in this deck. It really emphasizes, as in most decks, the healing aspect of real, deep, and profound connection. And I believe, as in all relationships, the relationship with ourselves is the model, is the power that is reflected in all of our relationships. And I believe you are recognizing your power to meet your own needs, to address your own desires, to pursue your unique potential and goals. And this power can be overwhelming, because the more you connect with yourself, the larger it becomes. And the sense of connection and connection to everything, which is very particular to Pisces, seeing the links between all things, can be overwhelming. And I do believe for many of you, this active meditation practice, journaling practice, creative practice, or prayer, whatever practice, dream practice, is an active way that you are communicating to your higher self, in which you are finding the guidance and support you need that has always been there, that you are now waking up to. Underneath the deck is the Ten of Swords, which I believe is emphasizing the context for this sense of fear that can arise, this context of anxiety, social collapse, untruths, betrayals, manipulations, violence, things that we do not generally accept as necessary elements in our social environments, things that we would shun, that we would not respect or invite into our spaces, is for many communities being imposed upon us. And this violence necessarily evokes fear. That's what it's intended to do. However, it also represents the dying away of an old way of life. Make no mistake that for every expression of cruelty and unkindness, there are elements in the world, in your world, including you, that are agents of positive, gentle, restorative change and access, abundance. So you are undoing the lie of cruelty and oppression within yourself as a precursor to empowering others through whatever healing work that you do. In the present, the Magician. This is lovely. This is a real break, and it's also, for me, an emphasis on the kind of communication that is occurring in your world, for you, throughout the world, that this ability to express your truth, to express yourself authentically, is key to the way that you dispel the lies and portrayal of an oppressive system. The liberty, the wealth of wisdom that you rest on is a model for others. It also guides you in your interactions with others as you are supporting the truthful articulation of others, helping others to understand better the information that exists in the world and ways to gain access to that information that is life-giving. That encourages the uniqueness of each individual, does not suggest or promote any kind of conformity. So this is beautiful. You are a teacher. You are a model of healing in whatever you do in your life. In the past, the Temperance card. Yeah, you've been really working on, there's so much powerful healing that I'm feeling from this reading right now. I'm receiving incredible chills. The temperance here, the raven, the blackbird, is that harbinger and messenger between worlds. And the very minimal halo on its head suggests its divinity. The wings here, its ability to support freedom and evolution. So this is you refining your response to life, particularly to the challenges and storms. In the social context, there is a lot of chaos, storms, thunder, collapse that you are witnessing, and you are supporting yourself and others through these changes, not by a naive belief that our spiritual selves minimize challenges in our lives. In fact, for many of you, you're finding the contrary to be true. The more clearly you see your path forward, the impact you can have on the world, the greater the challenges may be. Yet, your ability to see those challenges as opportunities for growth no longer relieve you from the sense of blockage or denial or restriction and limitation. And this is all about the refinement of your own self, your own skills, your own understanding and compassionate that you are indeed in everyone. In the future, the Nine of Cups is really so beautiful way of helping you to challenge the sense of fear that can overtake us at times. This is where you understand that you put your best effort, you put your heart, you put your love, your sense of abundance and joy, pleasure in life. Let's not forget pleasure and fun above the obstacles. You've learned to fulfill your own cups, to gift yourself with the love, the intellectual curiosity, the exploration and discovery of the abundance of the world as something that gives you a tremendous amount of contentment and satisfaction, pleasure with how you have learned to process the challenges and the joys of your life. You've learned that you can be whole and complete, that you are whole and complete, that your exchanges with others are from the basis of wholeness, not need or lack. And this is transforming your sense of abundance and joy overflowing. That feeling good is for you a measure of the success of your path, the rightness of your actions. And you use this because joy is radical. And this is about radical joy, radical pleasure. No matter what forces are there to oppress you, to create fear and intimidation, you answer that with pleasure in being alive, the knowledge of your special and unique talent, and abundant love and compassion for humankind. I'm going to clarify this reading with the Tarot del Toro, created by the artist and actor Benicio del Toro. I'm doing this for something of a light touch, a playful touch, and I'm also acknowledging harvest season, harvest celebration, Samhain in the Samhain in the Celtic tradition is the feast of the new year. Halloween, Day of the Dead are two practices we engage in the Northern Hemisphere that celebrate the thinness of the veil. The ease of the raven, the crow, the blackbird in general, symbols of passage from one world to another, from our world, there are many other worlds which we are finding easier access to as we have refined our lens, that we see things more clearly, more authentically, more honestly, in simpler terms, and that is empowering our potential in ways we could never have imagined. I'm going to clarify temperance in the past with the Tower card. I think it's interesting how I'm balancing the labradorite on top of this particular deck and the moon. That's pretty powerful here. You're definitely experiencing the social chaos that so many of us are, that is being experienced really around the world. And that social chaos is in many ways a result of the collapse of things that we've always relied on: goodwill between neighbors, a general sense that all can be cared for with the abundant resources we have, institutions that are not serving their purpose and therefore are dying an ugly death. And that is in many ways cracking us open to the broader world. I see you really thriving in spiritual realms, in the arena of ritual and magic, where you're uplifting cultural traditions that are relevant to you. You're looking at the link with ancestors and the way in which you are supporting generations of new wisdom and new purpose. This practice of meditation that was referred to in the Talisman Oracle, meditating on a candle being lighted, practices of prayer, of intention, of journaling, dreaming, uh, of creative process are really helping you to focus in on your innate and ancestral power, your cultural power, your ability to heal generational trauma, cultural wounding that has been experienced and is real. So you are participating with the ancestors at some level in doing this healing work. You're not simply being passively guided by your ancestors, but you are part of their work. It has become your work through the way that you share your skills and resources in the world. The way you teach, what you're teaching is directly through your ancestors, your guidance. In the present, the Magician is clarified by the Ten of Wands and the Eight of Cups. The release of an old way, the release of old beliefs, an old sense of responsibility, old expectations about who you are and what you should do. You're releasing that. You're no longer willing to play the role in the lives of others that you once did, that put your needs on the back burner, that didn't fulfill your needs or even acknowledge them. That is being released. You are understanding that that nevertheless has been the training and given you the power to move away towards something more significant for your life, something that stamps your life in a way that gives it its significance. You are not throwing away old relationships by no means. You acknowledge them. You are grateful for them, for giving you that sense of love and support for as long as they did. But that is no longer holding you back, keeping you connected to a situation or environment that is of your past, that you are ready and able to move forward from. And this is important because the work you do is calls you to other places, not just to visit or see, but to actually do your work in new environments. And there is a connection here with the motherland, whatever that means to you, whether it's the place of origin of your ancestors, whether it is literally Africa, the motherland of our DNA coding. That is a significant draw or call to you for many of you. In the future, the Nine of Cups is clarified by the Three of Cups and the Ten of Swords. And here we have another emphasis on letting things go, releasing old beliefs. This feels like old social or cultural beliefs. So they may not be specific to your immediate family, but they permeate all of our lives in a variety of ways. And it feels like more than aware of them, you're working against them in some way with a lot of support. You do have a lot of supporters, collaborators, a community around you that uplift your efforts to develop yourself, to be more skilled in your professional arena, and to share the love, share the healing in practical ways that protect and honor your vulnerability. And this is important because you are aware that the nature of the work you do requires you to expose a certain amount of vulnerability, and that can be unsafe. You've experienced the consequences of that danger, perhaps through some of your older former friendships or relationships or collaborators, even family members. So here you are supported and protected to do the social work that cleaves through the values and principles that no longer belong to you, us, or are appropriate for the world that you are contributing to. I'm going to pull a seed and sickle. The crocus, number 38, reduces to 11, which, depending on what tarot deck you use, is the Justice card or the Strength card. And this feels very appropriate to the effort that you've already made, the work you've already done. And I'm going to read from the guidebook. Number 38 is described like the stubborn crocus that endures the thickest frost to bloom. You've always managed to find that part of you that is strong and unmoving when times have been tough. This part of you is a valuable ally. Try reaching for it even when you don't need it. Become familiar with it and employ its determination in your everyday life. It will only benefit you. With the strength in hand, you can achieve anything. Thank you so much, Pisces, for this beautiful restorative reading. If you enjoyed this content, check out more content here. Thank you for your likes and subscribes. And until next time, namaste.